Hello ladies and gentlemen, WillE here, and today we're going to be having a look at how to have enough gold at or around level 40 in order to afford your first mount. This is more geared towards earning and more importantly saving as you level up rather than having to grind for long periods of time, but at the end of the day, grinding is very much the name of the game in Classic, so don't expect to earn your mount super easily even if you are careful with your cash. Your riding skill as well as mount will cost you 100 gold. Doesn't seem like a lot by retail standards today, where vendors sell mounts worth over 500,000 gold, but back in Classic, gold is a lot harder to come by, and it matters a great deal. Obviously, earning gold will vary from faction to faction, and even class to class when grinding. I want to keep the points provided here something that anyone has access to as much as I can. Finally, actively looking to make gold during your leveling process will slow you down somewhat, as you'll be spending time on things like trading, crafting, checking the auction house, messing around with bank alts, etc. Then again, if speed is the goal, then a mount at level 40 will certainly be huge for the majority of classes, especially the ones that have no movement speed ability whilst leveling. It depends what you're playing, of course. Locks and paladins have it easy, but in a brand new market it's a very exciting prospect to me, and I want to see if I can see how it shapes and whether I can predict how it will take form. People may be able to estimate what's good based off private server releases, but Classic will have thousands upon thousands of extra players, and this is an unprecedented event, and the savvy player can get leaps and bounds ahead, and of course making gold is a lot easier when you have gold, so let's get started. Perhaps one of the most important things you can do is create an alt, and not just necessarily a bank alt, but something you may intend to play at a later date. If you're super keen on farming, make more than one bank alt, like a one alt for herbs, one alt for skinning, etc. An alt expands your main's bag space by an enormous amount. You'll be able to send things via mail to your alt as soon as they're created as well, without even having to log them in. Take full advantage of this to mail over any excess items you've gathered from drops or professions. Have this character stationed at an area with a bank and an auction house near, and whenever you're on a rested area on the main, log in, check the auctions, post the new ones, log back over to the main. You should be able to make some decent money. Be efficient with what you carry. Initially your bag space will be very limited, only having the backpack. You may get an extra 6 slot bag early as a world drop if you're lucky though, but I wouldn't count on it. Sell all grey items you come across, only keep enough cloth to make the bandages you need instead of stacks of them. Send as many common items over to your bank alt as you can. Many common items will have next to no value for some time, but once people start hitting higher levels and dealing with the crafting professions, many obscure items may suddenly become very valuable. And this also goes for many different items that are used for quests, which are actually tradable. Don't waste money on things you won't use. A few silver spent here and there can quickly add up to a few gold, and every gold matters when you need 100 of them. There are numerous places where you can easily throw gold away, where you can save. Don't buy small upgrades from the auction house, they won't make a huge difference in the long run and will soon be replaced. Only buy the spells and abilities you can actually use from your trainer. This is perhaps one of the most important ones. There are many cool utility spells in Classic, but you can easily empty your pockets on something you barely use. If a quest reward is not an upgrade, take 2-hand weapons, plate or mail armor. They have higher vendor values than one-handed cloth or leather items. Commit to what you want to play and think before you choose a talent point. There's no warning screen when you do choose a talent to confirm your actions, and a mistake will cost you. The first respec is 1 gold, second's 5 gold, and then it goes up by 5 gold each time to 50 gold. 1 respec is okay I suppose, but beyond that you're really digging yourself into a hole. Be efficient with as much as you can whilst leveling with your mana and food. Having to constantly buy stacks and stacks of food will just waste a lot of money. Also, buy the cheapest tier food that gives you a decent regeneration rate. Don't waste loads of your money on food and water. In a brand new market, it's difficult to say what items will have what price, but you can be sure there will absolutely be a metric ton of gathered profession materials entering the market very quickly. It's a no-brainer to say gathering professions are a good money maker, and you should likely take one on your main, and of course taking 2 is a sure bet to make cash. It will slow you down quite a bit though, and don't forget to gather attempts can actually fail. If you're going to take 2 gathering professions, you will always want to take skinning, as you can only track either mining, nodes or herbs, not both at once. I don't believe most crafting professions are going to be lucrative for generating gold early. With everyone having such little gold and wanting to save up, you need to make items that are good for many people, not a select few. And I believe this comes down to creating 2 items. And note that this will only work on your main most likely, as crafting these items does have some level restriction. The first item are wands. All casters need wands. Now wands in the game in general come from a wide variety of sources like quests, drops, vendors, or of course the enchanting profession. Enchanting can create 4 different wands, each of which is pretty competitive for the level it's found at. Now I know there are better options out there than what's gained through enchanting, but simply put, the auction house offers convenience, which is something you can absolutely put a price on. On top of this, the materials for wands are quite accessible and shouldn't be too hard to come by. Disenchant any uncommon items you find and you should be able to get some decent starter materials for wands. Post these on the auction house for a reasonable price and you should be able to cash in. Wands cover the lesser and greater magic and mystic wands. These do cap out at level 30, so this is more of an early game money maker, but then again that's where the largest amount of players will be, and without any external knowledge of wand locations, the auction house will be an attractive option for many, especially for your first wand. This brings us to the second item, and this is one that everybody needs: bags. It's super important to invest in bags as early as you can. More bag space means less hassle with inventory management and deleting items for more valuable ones. This in the long term means more items to sell and more money. Bags are made through tailoring. You can vendor the common gear you make with tailoring and disenchant the uncommon gear you create. Then the disenchanted dust can be put towards making wands. Tailoring can make a wide variety of bags from the cloth found out in the open world. Now your main will definitely need some of that cloth to level up their first aid, so you'll likely have to buy off the auction house or farm yourself to get enough cloth to level up. You'll be able to provide decent quality bags for far less than the NPC vendors. Through combining enchanting and tailoring, you should be able to balance your income between selling and buying to continue leveling tailoring. Nevertheless, I've no doubt many people will be trying something similar and that competition and undercutting will be rife. This definitely won't be an easy mode way of making money, unless you have time and dedication and really do enjoy taking part in a new marketplace. The second profession combo that should be able to generate some cash whilst leveling is Herbalism Alchemy. Now each of these offers certain benefits that many people will wish to buy whilst leveling. The main attraction about alchemy whilst leveling are the healing potions and perhaps the mana potions for some classes. These can easily save your life, and I always plan to be carrying some of these. I expect there to be a decent market for healing potions and maybe some interest in water breathing or water walking elixirs as well. I wouldn't expect many people to be buying stat boosting potions early on though. Healing potions go all the way from when you just start alchemy to level 275 for the major healing potion. For herbalism, if it doesn't get you levels or make healing potions, it's probably worth selling. Also, rogues need Fade Leaf to create blinding powder to use their blind ability, so keep an eye out for this herb. Remember that the professions you level with don't have to be what you use at endgame. Honestly, if you went enchanter tailoring though, going leveling for money, I wouldn't re-roll them personally, especially as enchanting is a real pain to level once you start hitting the higher tier enchants. So even if you intend to be an engineer or a master swordsmith come level cap, those things can wait till later. Save your gold instead of leveling crafting professions like blacksmithing or leatherworking or engineering until you have a decent amount of gold and your mount. Especially don't bother with the specialization quests like gnomish engineering or tribal leatherworking. They all cost a huge amount of resources to complete and they'll still be there for you to pick up at any point. Going from 150 to 225 in a profession may give you some cool new toys which are fun to use sometimes, but a mount will help you nearly all the time. Now, you may be thinking, wow WillE, this info sure would have been great a few days ago, but to be honest, at lower levels, everything you need to spend gold on has a lower value. The grey items you will receive out in the world sell for less, as do the quest rewards and the item rewards. Even spells you learn from your class trainer are only a couple of silver, but at the later levels they're going to be a couple of gold. So if you've been throwing stuff away left and right or learning everything but still are at a relatively low level, it's not a big deal. Chances are you may have missed out on perhaps a couple of gold, but it's not going to set you back considerably. Once you start hitting the late 20s and early 30s, you'll notice that gradually the world around you scales with the costs of items gold-wise. Grey drops sell for more, people will buy your drops for more, etc. This is where good practices from early levels will really kick in and you should start seeing some nice savings. And that's everything I really wanted to cover. As mentioned, I didn't want to go over farming routes in this and instead recommend things that can be done whilst leveling. I can't predict how much items will sell for and to what extent you'll have to grind to have enough gold around level 40 to get your mount. I wouldn't be surprised if you would still need to farm. but following this advice, it should definitely save you guys some time and hopefully some effort. Any other ideas, anything big that you think I missed, let me know below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.